Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another one of our In the Loop live discussions. And today, super blessed to have a friend of ours, and that would be the chairman of the Osceola County Board of County Commissioners, Brandon Arrington for District 3. How you doing, sir?
Good, sir. How you doing today, Keith?
Doing great. Boy, it's we are in a hefty season of pre-summerness.
We sure are. As you and I joked before we got on air, how much stuff is going on in our community right now is really unbelievable. And then throw on top of the projections for summer tourism market, specifically domestic. And I mean, we're really going to be rocking and rolling here in the coming months. That's for sure.
I don't know how we went from Christmas in 1 hour and seemingly 2 hours later, we're looking at 90 degrees.
I know. We had a cold snap, 2 weeks ago, I think. It was down in the 70s, right? And but no, it's definitely, the thermostat is back up and the humidity level with it as well. That's for sure.
No question. Well, we're super glad that you're here today, and we've been we've really enjoyed being able to discuss things with you, what's going in and around the county, and we appreciate the fact that you guys are busy. When I bring it up before we go live a little bit, I kind of half grin because I think it's yet to meet the peak of the year busy wise for you guys. So yeah. It's a big county, a lot of stuff going on. So what would you like to share about this afternoon?
Sure. Just a quick recap. I want to give a couple highlights from our Monday's meeting about just two different things that we kind of talked about. One was obviously we made Juneteenth a holiday for Osceola County now moving forward. This was brought forth by Commissioner Grebe, so we're excited to add that to our list of, thanks for the graphic, to our list of holidays here for our employees in Osceola County. Obviously, it became a federal holiday in the recent year, so we were glad to follow suit. Obviously, some of our other bodies here in Osceola County have already done that as well. So thanks, Commissioner Grebe, for leading that charge. And unfortunately, she couldn't be with us at the meeting on Monday because she is in Puerto Rico with the Hispanic Chamber. They're doing a mission trip down there, and I was unable to attend. And fortunately, she was able to go for Osceola County. So thank her for visiting our folks down south of us and continuing to build those connections.
Excellent.
Another really exciting thing that happened on our Monday's meeting was a presentation given by Second Harvest Food Bank here in Central Florida. And they are a great community partner here in Osceola County. We have partnered with them. For instance, we just did a food drive that we partnered with them here in Osceola County down on Pleasant Hill Road at St. Rosa Lima. And so that was a great one. But they have worked with us, and since 2021, they have given out 100 million meals. Wow. And 6.9 of those million meals have been distributed here in Osceola County. And Osceola County has been able to partner with them through the pandemic and give out 1.9 million meals ourselves. Awesome. And that's at all of our different feeding opportunities that have done by our commissioners and some of the other agencies we've partnered with as well.
Do you mind if I put a little clip on while you're talking?
Yeah, please do, Keith. That'd be great.
Sure.
And here we are. Yes, this is Saturday. Thank you guys, Keith, so much for coming out. It was a great event. Here again, we've partnered with St. Rosa Lima Church, New Dimensions High School as well. Always great bunch of volunteers to come out and join us. And we were able to give out food to over 600 families that day, which is a really awesome opportunity. And so it's a great way for our community to engage and give back. And once again, Second Harvest was the entity that provided us our food for this wonderful day in our community. So thank everybody for coming out. And it's such a great facility. I mean, Keith, these are amazing shots you got with you guys, drone footage here. You can see all the cars lined up, and there's already a huge chunk of cars that have already pushed through that morning before we got this footage as well. So like I said, we tried to feed up to 600 families, and thank everyone once again, because it's a great opportunity to give back to our community, because a lot of us know, as even though our economy is doing better and people are back at work, inflation seems to be hitting people very hard when it comes to the pantry. And so that's why Osceola County has continued to make sure we provide opportunities that everyone has food in their pantry, no matter what your age, young or old. We want to make sure no one goes hungry here in our community. And if you're not able to get to one of our drops, there's new drops that'll be coming up here this summer as well. I know Commissioner Janer has one planned at Archie Gordon Park and BVL, and that'll be coming up here in June 4th, I believe, Keith, for that one. Myself will be doing two more this summer as well. on June 25th and July 23rd. Once again, at St. Rosalima Church on Pleasant Hill Road. Those two that we're doing, we're trying to focus those on families and making sure kids, once again, have food opportunities during the summer. We have a large number of youth here in Osceola County that are on free and reduced lunch. We want to make sure they don't go hungry during the summer as well. And the Second Harvest, if I fail to mention this, also has the summer feeding program where they're partnering with the school district in 15 different cafeterias throughout Osceola County to provide feeding opportunities as well. So if you or someone you know is struggling with food insecurity here in Osceola County, please make sure they get that information and are able to utilize those opportunities. Because once again, we don't want anyone to go hungry here in Osceola County.
Sure. Well, that is, we kind of, we mentioned it quickly. Let me go into this screen. We mentioned it kind of quickly when we first went on today, just talking about the show. But what's really impressive, for those people who haven't been to some of these food distributions, I look back when they first started. I'm speaking of first started relative to COVID, pretty much.
Sure. You bet.
And I think it was still somewhat of a learning scenario of how to manage all those people, because they come pretty much all at the same time, obviously, and you don't want to create a safety situation for the public, and you haven't. So if somebody hasn't seen these food distributions, they're really super well organized, and the Poinciana location at the church is really amazing to see, because it's really organized, and the sheriff's department makes sure that they're funneling people safely into the property and out of the property. It's really well done. It's great. It's great.
No, they do. And that's a great point, Keith. Making sure we give kudos to our sheriff's department as well. They do a great job of not only managing traffic on the site and moving people through in a safe, efficient manner, but also continuing to control traffic on Pleasant Hill Road as we move folks in and out of that facility. Right. And like you said, we usually fire up around 9:45 or 10 o'clock in the morning to start giving the food out. And depending on how many folks we have or how quick it moves, it's a good 2 hours of distributing food to about 500 to 600 families. And you're right. There's been some growing pains, but I think we've really got it figured out on how we do it now. And one of the big things that we've tried to do to make sure it's fair to everyone is that we give out one food distribution per vehicle.
Right.
We encourage, and that's something we did over time, because it really helped us balance our count, because we wanted to make sure no one that was in line got left out. And so that's one of the reasons we kind of shifted that way. And then back to your point of St. Rosalima, there again, what a wonderful site to be able to do a program like that. I would be hard pressed to find another location in my area that sets up so well for us to be able to do that. And they're another one of those great partners that has a food pantry that is feeding folks throughout the year.
Right.
And so there again, if you know someone who's food insecure, you don't have to wait to one of these opportunities by our county commission. There are food pantries here in Osceola County that are willing and able to serve you as well.
Very cool. Very cool. So what else you got?
We were just talking about, we're moving into summer and it's getting hotter, and with summer, obviously that brings on not our favorite season, probably our least favorite season, which is hurricane season.
Yeah.
And so I just want to make sure people are gearing up and prepping themselves for hurricane season, which will be coming up. Make sure your family and your household has a plan for when a hurricane actually comes to our community. Also, make sure you have an emergency kit ahead of time if possible. Please make sure you keep all vehicles at least half full while we're under alert of a hurricane. And then once a hurricane notice comes, please make sure you have at least one of your vehicles full of gas, so you have that opportunity to get out of your community or to be able to move around our community for days after, in case we do have power outages throughout Osceola County. We've been real lucky over the last couple of years and haven't been hit hard, but we all know what it's like to have many hurricanes come right through our community and impact us. So please be safe, be prepared. And also, we want to remind people, if you are someone who lives in a newer home that is not in a flood zone area, you should be safe to ride out most hurricanes in your home. However, there will still be shelters set up throughout Osceola County to be able to deal with folks who have special needs, a regular shelter, also shelters that have animal services as well. And usually that means you will have a crate opportunity to put your animal in a crate and have it in a designated area. So Once again, though, if you are someone who has a newer home that's not in a flood zone, that's not something you necessarily should worry about. But if you do live in a flood zone or you do live in a mobile home, I would please encourage you to find safe lodging or a place to ride out the storms, or perhaps even take use of some of the shelters that will be throughout Osceola County as well. And one of the other big things when we talk about hurricanes, we want to remind people of is after the storm.
Right.
And there's a lot of things that can happen after the storm from a safety standpoint. But we want to remind folks to make sure you're not being scammed, whether that's with roofers, debris cleanup, or anyone that might be trying to aid you and assist you in bringing back your property to the original state it was. Please do your homework. Make sure those vendors are certified and are able to work here in our community. And if you need more information, I got to look at my notes on this one, Keith. I apologize. You can visit hurricane.osceola.org and find out more information and to learn about your emergency kit you might want to put together, some of the supplies for that, but also to help with vendors as well. And then I would also encourage everyone, if you don't have a radio, that's obviously a weather radio, I would encourage folks to try and look at getting one of those, because once again, I know what it was like when we lost power for 7 days here in Osceola County from hurricanes in the past, and it can be quite a challenge, that's for sure. But you can also find other more reliable ways and get updates, including going to the county's emergency management social media, which is at Osceola EOC on Facebook and Twitter as well. And you can also go through Alert Osceola, which is free to join, simply by texting Alert Osceola to 888-777. And that's a great way to stay informed and get more information when it comes to emergency times here in our community.
It is. We had a graphic on that, but it eluded me when you were speaking of it. So I'll make sure we add that back into the post text. So have you guys discussed on the board? So it's because of the duration, the long duration of the pandemic. I think we started to, as a mass of humans, I think maybe worldwide, started to get a tad bit numb on what we should do in things. And so one of the fears I've had is here we come into, Florida is a different animal. It gets severe. I mean, it can be a big summer or it can be maybe hopefully a mild one. Are you thinking people are going to be a little bit on the, we're just over everything. Don't bring this hurricane preparedness thing into my life right now. Are you guys concerned a little bit about that?
Well, really, Keith, we hope not. We hope that people still understand what it means to live in Florida during hurricane season and the challenges we can or cannot face, right? As you said, if it's a mild season, we're apt to forget what the times were like when we've had serious storms come through our area. So we just want to make sure we're reaching out to people in advance to still take this serious, because, like I said, it can be a real challenge if you lose your roof and your home is damaged, or if your business is out of work, or if, for instance, the infrastructure is impaired, then make it non-passable for you or your community. So these are all things that we hope that don't happen, but we need to make sure we're prepared for them, because we know we've had a history of these things happening in our community.
Excellent. It hit me when you were saying those things. We would not mind having a discussion with you in the future about what do people do as far as evacuation, or how do they, and how do we move the amount of people that we have in Central Florida, not just Osceola County, but both sides, both coasts. How do we move the most efficiently, most safely when these things, if they do happen, occur? Because I know we have a lot of folks that have not been possibly through a summer before. I'd love to be able to kind of give those hints maybe in a later show, what people do.
Okay.
You're prepared, you're ready for it, and if it does happen, how do you move around the state properly? That would be something be great to talk about.
Keith, that's a great question, because we've seen in the past, my goodness, maybe it was 5 or 6 years ago, when Miami seemed to be in the direct line of a severe storm, and our governor at the time then urged everyone in South Florida to evacuate. Yeah. Well, they did, and the storm didn't go to where they were, but to where they were going instead.
Right.
And to everyone's defense, it's kind of hard to predict where that's going to be happening and where that's going to be going. So, like I said before, we really also want to make sure people that aren't evacuating that don't need to. Fortunately, Osceola County is an inland county, so most storms have slowed and weakened a little bit before they've hit us coming from the coastal communities as well. And so we really need to take that into consideration for evacuation of coastal communities as well when we look at our inland counties and where we're going to be moving to as well, because it is a challenge, because we've seen hurricanes literally come up through the center of Florida and go directly north right up through central Florida before. So it's quite a crapshoot, to be honest with you, but I'll definitely get with our transportation department and maybe circle back so we can have some better ideas on effective ways to do that for folks.
Well, I just appreciate that you're talking about it right now. I know we're less than 30 days away from the start of the season, and there's no hard rule that it can't hit a little early or get a little severe out there before the actual June 1 date. I spoke to Bill Litton today. Certainly spot on as far as the Office of Emergency Management in Osceola County does a great job over there. Now you guys are very connected in how you communicate. So a lot of things heading our way, so to speak, as we get near the June mark. Anything else you want to cover today?
Just one last thing we want to talk about, since we're once again getting into our summer months, and that's mosquito control here in our community.
Gotcha.
First, I want to remind people to do your part and try and cut down on any water pooling that you might have in your backyard or in your yard as a whole. Buckets gathering water, potted plants that are empty that are gathering water, old pools that may be left gathering water in your backyard are unfortunately great breeding zones for mosquitoes here in Osceola County. So I just want to remind people to please check around your yard, look for ways to eliminate pooling water around your house, so you can also help cut down on the mosquito population. We're continuing to pre-treat our ditches, swales, and our wetlands for larva mosquito control using our environmentally friendly and organic methods. And we've increased our larvicide efforts here in Osceola County tenfold since 2020 as well, which is great to see. So hopefully we can combat the problem a little bit earlier and be advanced of it as well. So we continue to monitor mosquitoes in 54 zones throughout Osceola County, looking for any random detections of anything that might be harmful, whether there might be any random strains. We've had Zika and things of that nature in the past, and that's always something good to try and preventatively catch as we move forward. So we do have trucks going out and spraying specific areas. We are not at any level count of mosquitoes yet to do aerial spraying. So I just want to let folks know that is not happening yet currently in Osceola County. But I just want to remind folks to please do their part, as it's been dry lately, but it'll be starting to get into rainy season real quick here, just to try and find any opportunity. And if you have an elderly neighbor and you see something in their yard that you might be able to lend a hand and cut down on some of that pooling opportunities, please do so, because it really does go a long way. And that's all I've got today for our beginning of our long, hot summer, Keith.
It reminded me when you were talking that I think there are a vast amount of topics that we talk about, and we do, honestly, I've said it before, we do appreciate that. But at the core, so often what you really are dealing with is at the dais is public safety. I mean, it's really, it comes back to that. And I know I don't think we coin it sometimes. I know you guys do, but sometimes as residents of Osceola County, we forget that there are so many big ticket items going on in our world that it really does come down to public safety so often and what you're really dealing with. So we appreciate what you're doing over there.
Oh, thanks, Keith. I appreciate it. And thanks so much for giving me the opportunity to share all the great things that are happening in Osceola County.
It's great. All right. Well, we hope you'll come back again next week. And before we hit the summer months, if it doesn't fit your schedule, we'll figure out how we can to flex it around somehow. But I do appreciate your time today, Chairman.
Thanks so much, Keith. Y'all have a great day.
All right. You as well. Again, here at In the Loop, Positively Osceola's live discussion midday with the chairman of the Osceola County Board of County Commissioners, Brandon Arrington, who is the commissioner for District 3, together making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Take care, sir.
Thanks, Steve. Have a good one.